This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Magmageddon. That's right, it's time for a 3v3. Haven't done these in quite a while. Wanted to jump back into just a single replay, not a best of 5 series or anything. And I figured I'd jump into a 3v3, which is kind of funny. Anyways, up in the top left side, we do have Goldy as the green allies. Just below him, Red Empire. This is Eminence, smurfing as Tina Fey. And in the south, as the Cyan Soviets, the powerhouse, Dankal. Up in the top right hand, we do have Twan Alex, also known as H&M. He's blue allies. Yellow allies beneath him is indeed Vindies. You probably know him. He's a darling or something. He's a character at the very least. And in the very bottom side, we do have the purple Soviets, Dimon, a powerhouse player who is, one of the guys who's the best in the business right now, or maybe not the best in the business. He's, one of those top tier players who can certainly, if he cares to, make it a far run in a tournament. At any rate, my initial thought process tonight was because I don't have a lot of time to just straight up cast some games, so I didn't want to cast a best of 5 or a best of 7 or anything from like Grinder League or a tournament. And so I was like, well, I'll just cast something nice and quick. I'll just cast a single replay. And then I was like, ooh, 3v3. So I guess this could actually turn out to be as long as, like a pretty short best of 3 or a short best of 5 if the games didn't go on too long. In this game, we do indeed have 3 allied players, 1 Empire, and 2 Soviets. So a nice mix. Would be nice if we had an even split of 3 and 3. H&M looking to go to town on Goldy. As you can see, he's starting to tear through quite a few of the Peacekeepers, but of course with inferior numbers, he's not going to be able to stick around forever, especially with Javelin Troopers starting to be mixed in. Of course, Javelin Troopers need to be protected by those Peacekeepers, otherwise they could just get shredded. Vindies starting to work away on the oil derricks, which also, Eminence working away on one of the oil derricks of Vindies as well. It looks like the oil derricks were all grabbed by their respective players, and a relatively quick third refinery going to be coming out for Eminence. But in the south, Dimon heading up with this Stingray, just going to be trying to poke in towards Dankal, do a little bit of damage here and there. The MCV on for Dimon going to be pushing straight in, and this will actually be spotted by Dankal. There's a replacement there for most likely that refinery. And Vindies, he's pieced out with his MCV. He's up north. Is he going to be going for a bit of a turret push? The possibility is certainly there. He does have a dog inside of the base of Eminence. Also going to be sending a Vindies, a Vindicator and an Apollo over to the left side of the map. Dankal has his own Stingray, but it could be bombed out of oblivion by Vindies to help Dimon take this position. No, as it turns out, the Tengu will be the target there. In the north, we do have, once again, Peacekeepers, but no! Now pretty much everything is inside of a multi-gunner turret, and the bombs are not enough. Goldy cannot actually kill off these multi-gunner turrets. Unfortunately, right this moment, if he would have turned around with a couple of Peacekeepers, he could have blasted away those very low HP IFVs, but he didn't quite manage to do it. A couple of Apollos going to be looking for some targets in the south. MCV going to be moving out for Dankal, but Goldy is going to be starting to pull apart that oil derrick of H&M, while H&M starting to push into the base of, well, it's kind of Goldy's base, but it also does have some stuff here from Dankal. Couple of Peacekeepers, couple of IFVs won't take down buildings super quickly, but of course, if they're left unhindered, they will do some nice damage. Focus fire from Eminence, not just killing off the Peacekeeper, straight up kills off both of the IFVs just to get absolute maximum amount of damage done with that single Tengu. Ooh, the splash damage going to be doing a fair job on some of these Peacekeepers, as H&M is going to have to deal with the MCV of Goldy. Can Goldy actually get any real crushes here? The answer thus far is looking like not really. H&M splitting relatively well. He's splitting well enough, and Goldy not going to be able to get too many crushes. Eminence going to be getting shut down by a couple of dogs and a multi-gunner turret, as Dimon is going to have to be dealing with Dankal right in his face relatively soon as Dimon MCV pushes. But on the flip side, Dankal actually kind of moving his own MCV. We could end up seeing a little bit of a swap coming down in the south as Imperial Warrior is going to be lining up in the middle of the map as a dog gets shot down by one of those Tengus. Multi-gunner turret coming down from H&M, going to be supporting Dimon in the south, while H&M going to be pushing forward against Goldy in the north. The multi-gunner turret does get eliminated. Goldy going to be sitting on that 4 refinery, almost 4 refinery economy, as it looks like most players are up to 3 refineries at this point. The exception really being Dankal, who surprisingly has not been able to get himself up a 3rd refinery, which is a little bit unfortunate. Vindies up to that 4th refinery, going to be getting pushed by a huge amount of Tengus in the middle of the map from Eminence, who's just going to be tearing through, well, a couple of structures after taking some losses, because you don't get to kill a couple of multi-gunner turrets without losing a couple of Tengus. Eminence going to be controlling nicely enough to save a Tengu or 2 before it actually goes down, while in the south, Dimon pushing in to Dankal with the help of Vindies. These cryocopters really going to be making things difficult for Dankal. I'm not actually sure that Dankal can do anything else in this game. His MCV is just got a pixel of HP left. And in the north, we do once again have the Tengus moving in, supported by some tank busters and Imperial warriors, as Vindies going to be pulling up his MCV. He tries to do a little loop-de-loop, but he will end up being pushed back a little bit there. Multi-gunner turret going to be guarding away in the north for Goldy, while back in the middle of the map, Vindies loses one of his 5 refineries, taking him back down to 4. Will end up losing this multi-gunner turret as well. A couple of tank busters fully heroic in the mix here, as Eminence going to be pushing on forward, and there's not actually a whole lot here to stop him. Cryocopters showing up at kind of the last moment here. 2 of them going to be allowing these couple of Tengus to be, well, harassed a little bit, as the Apollos in the sky with the repairs would trade fairly well against Tengus, but not super well, as this is still a pretty healthy number of Tengus. And the Apollo is going to be shredding through with the help of this multi-gunner turret. Could be able to take down, nope, the multi-gunner turret going to be shooting the tsunami tanks. And so the Tengus will actually end up reigning supreme, as in the, well, in the skies, they're completely cleared by Eminence's Tengus. Dankal is not really a part of this game anymore. I think he's just got really this down in the south and not a whole lot else up here, while Eminence going to be pushing against Vindies, who is being supported a little bit by Dimon, but not actually that much is happening from Dimon. Instead, he's going for a bit of harassment. Could end up just targeting down some power plants to be a little bit annoying, cause that little bit of damage to Eminence, and kind of slow down his production, even though it wouldn't do all that much else. And Goldy still having to deal with H&M. He does have a couple of Riptides trying to poke away at Goldy, trying to do that little bit of damage on the right side. Vindicators going to be trying to deal with the Dolphins, while back in the middle, Eminence continuing to push with the infantry. Right up top, we do again have Riptides continuing to the pressure, but Goldy should be able to hold with a couple of more multi-gunner turrets, and eventually H&M going to be tearing through that base with just that single Peacekeeper if it doesn't get stopped. Vindies going to be getting pushed away. Somehow Dankal still has like 1 engineer, I'm assuming from the sell-off of that MCV, and well, Eminence, no, he can't quite get Vindies' MCV. Dimon is running guard with a couple of hammer tanks on the left side of the bank there, but more chopper VXs, more forces going to be heading in for our friend Eminence, as he is going to be, well, taking down a single Vindicator, as it does get eliminated there, and now he's going to be tearing through the majority of Vindies' base. Vindy trying to support Dimon earlier on in the game will end up kind of working against him, but now Dimon going to be chasing away some of the forces of Eminence, going to be taking down a Tengu and potentially some Chopper VXs, although if the Chopper VX just transforms, he could deal with those hammer tanks really quite nicely. Vindicator's going to be coming in for H&M just to do a little bit of damage against these Tengus, but still, 4 fully heroic tank busters can do some pretty healthy DPS, not when they're being shut down by this many Peacekeepers as they get completely annihilated, although it looks like Dankal did get an infect with that terror drone. A very nice move there by Dankal, doing what he can with what limited units he can, and I think that was actually a heroic Dolphin that just got eliminated there by the now elite Riptide, as he does manage to get the kill. Once again, tank busters being mixed into this army. Can Dankal actually do anything else? I kind of think not. I keep thinking he's out of this game, but he's slowly actually just going to be rebuilding. Not sure whose Tesla coil that is. I'm guessing it is not. Actually, it might be Dimon's. I can't quite tell on the mini-map. Twin Blade's going to be targeting down a number of the infantry as Dimon pushing Eminence back. And Eminence, well, he starts to have a little bit of anti-air here now with the few of his Tengus going to be running guard against those Twin Blades. One Apollo will be taking a bit of damage. Vindies being a little bit sloppy. loses the Apollo right there. Will end up doing a little bit of damage to the wall. Not really anything devastating. Dimon just has been allowed to almost do whatever he wants in this game. Vindies going to be potentially looking for the expand. He does still have an MCV. Does he have an engineer on the way? I would assume that's what he's going for, although he could also be going for spies. No, it is going to be an engineer. He does have that tech up, of course, for the tier 2. He's had that for quite some time, so he could be going for those spies. Bullfrogs and hammerheads, or excuse me, bullfrogs and hammer tanks going to be looking for that good angle of engagement. Goldy still holding strong in the north against H&M, who hasn't been able to make that much progress against Goldy, as 2 hammer tanks going to be coming in, but they're going to get absolutely shredded by just the large amount of Empire infantry. Cryoblast going to be coming down onto this ore refinery, but is there anything here to kill it? Yes, one single Peacekeeper from H&M. Will he actually stop to attack, as a couple of Javelin Troopers going to be getting eliminated, and a couple of... Oh no, the Peacekeeper goes down! And there's the missed opportunity for H&M to actually do any damage, as goodbye Apollo. Tengu's starting to tear through absolutely everything with the help of the Eminence's other forces, who really has been like the VIP. By the way, Dankal has been defeated in the north. Just, oh, once again, Vindies up to his tricks, trying to grab a couple of tsunami tanks. Will end up losing one of them, but that is worth it with that spy. And now Dimon, has he just simply lost too much, as Tengu's getting absolutely shredded by the bullfrogs? They transform to join up with the infantry army, and now this one twin blade may be running completely unopposed in the sky. It's going to take him a long time to actually clean up all of the forces, but can he actually do it while in the north? More cryo weapons going to be firing off and helping potentially Goldy deal with H&M, or the other way around. I'm not exactly sure, as Tengu's in the south going to be tearing it through the base of Dimon. And a couple of beacons going to be going down. H&M getting pushed by Goldy, as Goldy is going to be trying to do something with his MCV, potentially trying to escape, as he was trying to turret push a little bit there and base creep towards H&M, but another turret going to be going down. Vindies is still in this. 2 Riptides from Goldy going to be harassing H&M's economy, and Eminence trying to establish another refinery in the middle of the map, but he can't quite manage to get it up. And H&M going to be getting himself a nice Chopper VX kill, and potentially will be getting himself a nice kill on that refinery as well. The super reactor goes down, and this refinery is the most of what's left in the main base of Dimon. Now, Dimon has moved his MCV over to the left side here. He does have a barracks and 2 oil derricks, so he's always got a little bit of income, as well as this ore refinery. And, well, he still technically has this ore refinery on the left side as well, while in the middle of the map, Eminence going to be coming towards Vindies. Eminence just rolling over so many players in this game. In this one Peacekeeper clearing his way through a couple of Javelin Troopers, and a second Peacekeeper going to be popping on out, trying to do what he can to save H&M, as H&M going to be losing this refinery eventually. It's getting whittled away bit by bit. Those Riptides, not very good DPS against buildings, but eventually they'll wear it down, as Vindicator's going to be coming in for H&M. Will make a bombing run, take a little bit of damage from those bullfrogs, but I actually didn't even realize that the bullfrogs from Dankal ended up going to Eminence, as I guess that's an ore collector out there on the water, as H&M is going to be losing the majority of his main base. He is still technically in this game, but I don't think he really has all that much left. Goldy has completely trounced him and shut him down, as Vindies is starting to shut down a lot of stuff from Eminence, and he may actually get the MCV eventually. Oh, if he could snipe down this another instant generator, that would be very nice. Goldy going to be showing up, trying to run guard, and no, the MCV goes down! Eminence actually loses the MCV to Vindies. At the last moment, the Vindicator fires off a bomb that was necessary to kill off that MCV, and now H&M is pretty much out of it, but he's got 2 Vindicators running around the map trying to find something to do, as Eminence, again, tearing through so much of the stuff that Vindies has, as Twan Alex has been defeated, who is H&M, as I mentioned previously. And it's just down to, I guess, kind of the 4 big players, but really, Goldy and Eminence are definitely the biggest players in this game at this current moment. Goldy has just been running kind of unopposed for the last couple of minutes since he started to beat back H&M, and now H&M is out of the game, so Goldy is completely free to rain terror. However, Vindies does have some very good control. Goldy going to be going cryocopter hunting, which is a very fun sport, albeit it's a little bit dangerous if you're a cryocopter, because you don't have much of a defense against those Apollos. Well, not often do you see just 5 tsunami tanks rolling up to a base like this out on the water to just take it down. 2 of them fully heroic, as they're going to be absolutely shredding through that MCV. A couple of Apollos going to be taking some damage from that Bullfrog, as the MCV going to be getting shrunk down and forced away, going to be taking more and more damage, but it is going to be chased down by those tsunami tanks. 1 Bullfrog getting left behind. Going to be near where that Tesla coil actually completes. May end up getting eliminated. And somehow, Vindies just clicking furiously, trying to escape with his MCV. There's another shrink coming down, so it will be able to continue to run. It's just taking more and more damage as it gets surrounded by more and more forces. It looks like that Bullfrog ended up going down. Our hero friend from Dankal won't quite survive, and Eminence classically does fire off all of his nano deflectors at once. Vindies going to be targeting down the first of those tsunami tanks, and as you can see, the Pathian in Red Alert 3 is causing actual problems for the remainder of those tsunami tanks. The Cryocopter will manage to escape. One of the most exciting races that has basically ever happened in the history of mankind is this one MCV tried to escape the tsunami tanks. I mean, NASCAR or Formula 1, those things may be great and all, or, you know, rally racing, all of that stuff, Le Mans 24, that's all great, but it doesn't involve tanks with guns shooting while chasing other vehicles of a different class, and we do have an infect on one of those fully, nope, that's not a fully heroic, but rather that is just a veteran tsunami tank, as one of the fully heroic ones is going to be getting shrunk down and eliminated, as we do indeed have more Empire infantry going to be coming up than this one single Cryocopter can manage, and oh, that's some solid crushing. It almost became some incredible crushing with that many single file stacked up tank busters. Vindies manages to escape with his lonely MCV. I'm not sure if he actually has enough money, but it's coming down to Vindies and Dankal, mostly Dimon. I mean, not Dankal, Dimon. Oh no! Cryoblast going to be firing off, locking down so much of Eminence's stuff, and all that Dimon has to do is step forward and claim so many kills for himself as he ranks up those hammer tanks. A couple of them going fully heroic, one of them going full heroic, 1 veteran, 1 elite, as another one steps into that elite range, and this is an absolute slaughter by Dimon as he crushes through, quite literally, so many of Eminence's forces. Goldy and Eminence not able to crack Dimon. Not this day, not this moment. Somehow Vindies finding a way to do a bit of damage even after he's nearly down and out. He's got 1 oil derrick bringing in income, and that is pretty much it from his earlier 5 refineries. Oh, how he has fallen. Dimon. 1 refinery, 2 refinery, 3 refineries, and no, he's got 4 almost. It's not actually mining, but he does have 4, and then 2 oil derricks and an MCV. He's actually going to start base pushing Eminence potentially. Of course, the problem with Soviet base pushes is the base defenses can actually be attacked, much like Empire ones. They can actually be attacked before they're ready to do any damage. I don't think Goldy can be stopped. Like, he's got so much money. He can expand here. He could expand down here, which I'm assuming is what he's doing. He's got so much money, he can do whatever he wants. Dimon has been defeated. Vindies has been defeated. GG goes down. What a game. Insane action from front to back. Just non-stop fighting. Eminence and Goldy will take it for Team A, or Team Left Side, whatever you want to call themselves. And unfortunately for H&M, Vindies, and Dimon, they won't quite be able to make it work, but what a game we did indeed see. Some nice micro here and there, some nice bits of action throughout, and that was definitely a good game just to jump in and cast. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, potentially more action coming up soon, but I don't know. I hardly even have time, I feel like, to do this. Anyways, we'll just jump right out of this. This is Sybert, signing out.